Welcome to the Hotel Kilmore for the Cavan Hurling and Football Championship draws. I'm delighted to be joined on stage by Chairman of the CCC, Jerry Shorten, and Chairman of Cavan County Board, Kieran Callahan, as we start off the draws. Jerry, if you don't mind, we're going to start off with the Hurling Championship draw. Can you just give us the format and the teams involved?
Yeah, in the Hurling Championship there are 4 clubs. It will be straight semi-finals and a final, so a knockout championship for the hurling. We have Pearse Hogue, Cullys Celtic, Mullahorn St Joseph's and East Cavan Gales.
Okay, so we might proceed with the draw. So we've the 4 balls to go into the bowl. Mullahorn St Joseph's, the reigning champions. Looking to see can they add another one to their list. So Jerry, the first team out.
First team out is East Cavan Gales. East Cavan Gales will take on
Cullys Celtic. So that's East Cavan Gales against Cullys Celtic in the first of the semi-finals.
Next team out is Pearse Oaks, and they should be facing off against
the reigning champions Mullahorn St Joseph's. So that's Mullahorn St Joseph's against Pearse Oaks and East Cavan Gales against Cullys Celtic. Are there dates set for the start of the Hurling Championship, Jerry?
We expect to play the Hurling Championship early September, after we reach maybe the quarterfinals of the Football Championships. There are a lot of crossovers between players on the hurling clubs and the football clubs, and we had a discussion with the hurling clubs and it's an agreement that we came to.
Very good. So I'd just like to call up on stage a couple of representatives from the hurling clubs, Bart Nannery from Mullahorn St Joseph's and John Keaton from Pearse Oaks. You can give them a big round of applause, please.
So once again, a bit of housekeeping for the lads. Just when you come up, if you just wash your hands with sanitizer, and the microphone is across a good safe distance away from us for all our listeners. Everything is being adhered to, all the health guidelines from the government and from NEFID and WHO. So,
Damien, well said, Mickey. Start with you, Bart, if you don't mind. Congratulations, I suppose, reigning champions, Mullahorn St Joseph's. You had a good season last year, bit disrupted this year, obviously. How have you managed to prepare?
Yeah, look, we've been taking away ourselves. Each player has been training away individually, a bit of runs. I suppose we're kind of all kings of the 5k at this stage, aren't we? But yeah, look, everybody's been training away individually at home. So hopefully, when we get back to group training, we've got a good foundation underneath us. We can build upon that.
Last year's championship was really competitive. Great to have 4 teams and 4 teams of a pretty much similar level. You've seen in the past when it was go straight to a final. It's wonderful to see the progression.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and we'd love to build on that progression. Of course, we'd love to get more teams if we could. And I suppose, as you said yourself, a couple of years ago, it was often just 2 teams run straight to a county final. It's a bit disheartening to play upon it, but if we could build and build and build and get it growing more and more every year. It was great to have East Cavan Gales and Pearse Oaks join us only in the past couple of 2 or 3 years. So hopefully, if we could get a couple more of you to get a few hurls with Munye and get out playing, it'd be great. Or get a few of the older clubs back even. Of course, Ballymakew was there, Gowan was there, Cavan Gales. But if we could get it back going, maybe 6 or 7 teams, it'd be great.
Yeah, well, bring in John. Thanks a million, Bart. Bring in John Keaton from Pearse Oaks. First year of the club competing, getting into the county final. I suppose it was a great success.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, look, it's the more clubs that you have and the more people participating, the better. A bit like what Bart said, you know, it's hard at times. It's hard to get people, I suppose, motivated, and we also have a lot of dual players. Most of our players, nearly all of our players, are dual players. So it's great to see the 4 clubs, and may it long continue. But we need more coming through.
You obviously come from a hurling background.
Long time ago now, David. All right, long time ago.
Looking at it, you must be delighted with the progress. Like, we do see a lot of dual players. I don't think we've seen much of the dual player up until the last couple of years. So it's something that can be built upon.
Other counties can do it, okay? And look, it's been relatively successful. We would like to see more at juvenile. We need more clubs at juvenile, and we need more participation at juvenile, because we need that conveyor belt coming through. We have an awful lot of players now that have started their indigenous hurlers in Cavan. We also have guys that came into the county as well, have settled down in the county, are living in the county, and that's great to see. But we have a lot of indigenous players coming through, and we've seen all of those through failures, through underage, and they've been very successful when they went outside the county. So let's try to work on and building it.
Can Pierce Oaks go one step further? Second
Well,
season.
sure. Third time lucky. It's actually the third because we didn't. Third time lucky. So it's Mullahoran again. We know each other. So
Very well.
very well, yeah. You know.
Yes,
No, familiarity doesn't breed contempt.
Not always, anyway.
No,
Not
definitely
always.
not.
John, thank you very much.
No
Mark,
problem.
thanks very much. And congratulations, best of luck in the championship, lads.
Thanks.
Give them a huge round of applause, please.
Just to recap, in the Senior Hurling Championship 2020, it's going to be East Cavan Gales taking on Coothill Celtic and Pierce Oaks taking on Mullahoran St. Joe's. So next up, we'd like to invite Barney Cully up to the stage, the main sponsor of the Junior Championship, as we get ready to do the Junior Championship draw, the draw for the Sean Leddy Cup, of course. And we will have the chairman of the CCC, Jerry Sheridan, just opening the bag there with all the teams. The teams were individually checked earlier on before we came in to do this draw. We heard them going into the cup.
Like the independent adjudicator from me.
Was indeed. So, Barry Cully, I suppose a long-time sponsor of Cavan GAA and a long-time sponsor now of the Junior Championship in Cavan, and I suppose this is the first year that I suppose we had to leave the championship so late in the year to draw for the championship, Barney.
Yeah, it is. I suppose everybody has been taking advice from the government and from the health HSE and all that. So, and everybody, I think most people have come through it. I know figures were big for Cavan, but I think there were reasons for that maybe should have been brought out in the media and weren't. But anyway, I don't think it was all maybe Cavan people that were diagnosed in Cavan, and I think that was a big problem for. I had somebody from Limerick talking to me the other day on the phone, wondering what was going on in Cavan. Like there was 5 people around Arva. I see it. I think it was in the Celt this week. It gives the rundown. Like, there was, like in the country areas, there wasn't that bad at all, you know. But I think the fact that so many people were tested in Cavan Town, that's what put the whole thing up. Which for most of us, we've all got through it this far anyway. So looking forward to getting back into action now.
Yeah, it's been a long 3.5, 4 months, and you've been not only a sponsor of Cavan GAA, but a proud GAA man. You know, what have you done to fill your time over the last 4 months, Barney? Because you were never out of Kingspan Breffni before this.
I'm sure I'm taking it easy.
A well-earned break.
I found a few bottles in the back of the garage I was cleaning out the other day. They must be there 20 years. That's what I'm at. Filling in my time and doing a bit of gardening and stuff like that.
Brilliant. And how important is it for you to be a sponsor of Cavan GAA and the Junior
Sure, look,
Championship in particular?
It's great to be involved in it. Like I'm involved in it all my life, and I was brought to county conventions when I was a Gosson with my father and that. So I'm living it all my life. So it's just natural to be involved and to want to be there.
Fantastic. We're going to proceed now with the draw. So, Damien, if you want to.
So I'd just like to ask Jerry, maybe if you could take up to the microphone and just explain the format and the teams involved in the Cullys Craft Bakery Junior Football Championship.
Yeah, the format of the Cullys Craft Junior Championship, Team 1 that's pulled out first will have a bye in round 1. The second team pulled out will have a bye in round 2. The third team pulled out will have a bye in round 4. And the fourth team pulled out will have a bye in round 5. Now those 4 teams, when we make the draw for round 2 after round 1, those 4 teams will be drawn again to play each other in round 3.
Okay, that's excellent. So nice and simple. And then we have obviously 13 teams in the Cullys Craft Bakery Junior Championship this year. So we proceed with the draw, Jerry or Kieran, if you want to pull out the first team. First team will receive a bye in round 1.
First team out is
Mahara McFinn's.
Mara McFinn's get a bye in round 1, so they won't be going back into the bowl. The second, third, and fourth team will be going back into the bowl for the draw for us. Round 1.
Second team out is Drum.
So they will get a bye in round 2. The third team out will be getting a bye in round 4, because the 4 teams that are drawn out will play against each other in week 3.
And the third team out is Templeport.
Templeport getting their bye in round 4. And the last team to receive a bye in round 5 is Swan and Bar. And of course, Swan and Bar joining up this year in the junior championship with Curla, I believe. Is that right, Damien?
Yeah, I think Corla players can play for Swan and Bar this year. I think I'm not 100% sure on that. So we'll go on swiftly.
So the second, third and fourth team drawn out there have gone back into the bowl. The first team out have the bye in round 1, so this is the actual draw for round 1 of the junior championship now.
Okay, so Jerry, first team out.
And the first team out of the bowl is Drum.
Drum back out again, bye in round 2. So in round 1 they will play.
Drum will play Drummondie. Of course, myself and Damien came with the Drummondie colours today. He had a white mask, I had a black mask.
That's it. So round 1 Drum against Drummondie. Round 1 second game. Kildallan.
So Kildallan will play in their first round game Muncher Connacht.
Connacht beat Kildallan.
And the next team out.
Fourth game.
Very sure I'm pulling this one, and it is
Mount Nugent.
Mount Nugent.
And Nugent will be facing off against, I'm kind of just pulling it out there now, it is Kill
Shamrocks against Mount Nugent. So it's Drum against Drummondie, Kildallan against Muncher Connacht, Mount Nugent against Kill. Fourth game out. Shannon Gales, last year's beaten finalists.
And last year's beaten finalists will be taken on, it is Knockbride.
Big one there.
Big game there, is right.
Paul Fitzpatrick's favourite for it in the Anglo-Celt, so that's a big one. The fifth game, we'll see Red Hills under Brian Bates.
Red Hills will be taken on, we're just having a look now, it is Templeport in their first round game. And
Red Hills, a big game.
final 2 teams in round 1. It is
Swan
and Bar, completing the West Cavan side of it.
and they will be taking on Den.
Under the management of Stephen Baxter. So just to recap on that, in round 1, it will be Drummondie against Drum, Kildallan against Muncher Connacht, Mount Nugent against Kill Shamrocks, Shannon Gales against Knockbride, Red Hills against Templeport, and Swan and Bar against Den. That's round 1 of the Cullys Craft Bakery Junior Football Championship. So I'd like to call on a couple of people to come up on stage just to discuss the draw. Aidan Dwyer from the Muncher Connacht Club and PJ Moore from Drum. If you can give them a huge round of applause, please.
Two lads making their way up to the stage there now. Some interesting pairings in that junior championship, Damien.
There is definitely lots of excitement.
Knockbride and Shannon Gales is a big one there. Last year's beaten finalists against one of the favourites for the junior championship.
Yeah, the team that probably took the luck for Kilmore to get over in the quarter final.
We have our 2 guys up on stage now, Aaron Dwyer and PJ Moore of Drum, and Damien, you're going to take.
Aidan, maybe if you'd like to step up to the mic there. Are you happy with that draw? Kildallan, it's a long way over to the west of Cavan, but you can meet halfway and have a battle.
We have a battle. Yeah, no matter what match you look at here, it's very competitive. I don't think anybody could put the money on any team, on any round. There's some great competition there. We have Drummondie there versus
Drum.
Drum. Kildallan or ourselves, we always got very hard to beat Kildallan. That'd be a good match. 2 young teams. Whoever is better on the day. Mount Nugent and Kill, another tough one. And then you have Shannon Gales. Shannon Gales then, they were
Yes,
beaten
Knockbride.
last year's playing Knockbride.
That's a big one.
That's probably the one of the round. Martin, you're only looking down there.
Everybody look forward to that one.
Maybe you look forward to it. Red Hills and Templeport. It's competitive championship of the whole lot. You definitely couldn't say who's going to win it or even who's going to win the first round. All we know is Maher is through in the first round. That's all for sure at the moment.
And you're happy with that, being a good neighbourly folk like you usually are. Tell me, how have preparations been going, or how has the lockdown been up around Muncher?
Of course, we're locked down all the time there. It's going very well. I'm just saying it's a pity there's not a pandemic every year. We might get more out. There's more out this year. Yeah, we're training hard. And like every other team, we're hoping every year, beginning of the year, you're hoping it's our year. We're a very, very young team with a few of the older lads coming back. So we see how we get on again. Championship, and that'll be a tough start for us anyway. But there's some very strong teams in the junior championship. There's no doubt about it. It's that you couldn't pick out. I think Kilmore knows that. They had a great team for years there. They were getting the finals and they eventually won it in the end. And not by that much. So it just goes to show you how competitive it is.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Thanks very much, Aidan.
No, thank you.
We'll bring up PJ Moore from the Drum Club. PJ, I suppose every club we're hearing of increased numbers. Is it the same around Drum at the minute?
Yeah, we have a good number of players out. We have everybody seems more committed the year to, because, like, you know, they're coming into a thing or into a championship or into football maybe later when they had time to sit down and sort of think of, like, you know, football has been a passion and a lot of, but it's a struggle at the start of every year to get players out and to get them committed, and they've been all working at home and doing training, as say, like sessions and different things. So it seems to be bringing numbers back more committed to football.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and
Exactly,
it seems to be definitely working at the minute. How do you fancy your chances against the Drummond lads?
Well, sure. Championship, like, you know, every day, sure. Last year, a simple mistake in the day and minutes put us at the championship last year, like we were beaten down in Kildallan. They, you know, hop of a ball going wrong and it ending up in the back of the net. It's just one of those things that you could have the best performance from the day, and something like that happens. It just closes the door for you, doesn't it?
Well, look, you need a bit of luck in any game at all, and I think any winners will always say that. Some nice young talent coming through, though.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we always had talented footballers, like, you know, but just getting it on. We have very talented players coming on now, and hopefully that this could be our year.
Fingers crossed, although I can't cross them for the first round for you, PJ, unfortunately. Give PJ Moore and Aidan Dwyer a huge big round of applause.
We'd now like to call on the chairman of the Cavan County Board, Mr. Kieran Callahan, to say a few words before we do the intermediate championship draw. Over to you, Kieran.
Yeah, just welcome everyone here today to the draw, and thank David Donoghue and Mickey for their help here. I just want to thank the CCC for the work they put in over the period of time where they had one plan done, and then we had to set up a subcommittee, and on the subcommittee was Liam McCabe, Angela Hamilton, Orla O'Reilly, Jerry Shorten and Rosemary Carfrey to come up with a plan, and we'll obviously launch the plan there. And it is very hard to fit in the number of games that we're trying to fit in a very short window with facilities that's required by the LGFA and the Bogey and the Hurling, and it's very, very important we all work together and look forward to it. And I just want to thank the CCC for the work they've put in on coming up with this revised plan as well. So I want to wish everyone the best luck in the championship, all teams.
Yeah, and I suppose this would be a good time as well to talk about our sponsors in Cavan GAA, Kieran. You know, we've had the Hotel Kilmore and Cullys Craft Bakery for a long time now sponsoring Cavan GAA, and the times that are in it in particular now, you know, this is the time that we need everybody to go out and support their local businesses, and especially the clubs, the people who have been sponsoring the clubs over the last number of years, be it a small shop or a pub or whatever it is, a restaurant, that we get out and we support the people who have been sponsoring our clubs for the last number of years.
Absolutely, and I'm going to go to the Cullys Craft Bakery. The Cullys family has been real supporters of Cavan GAA over the years, and it's very, very important that we support Cullys Craft Bakery. When we went to the shop, look for Cullys bread. And it's a very simple thing to do. We must support our sponsors. I came into the Kilmore this morning here, and the Kilmore's been closed for 14 weeks. But it's only been closed to the front doors. But the amount of work going on here, the place is looking fantastic. I have to say, the painting, the decorating, the work in the gardens that Ross and Kate Meadoff has carried out, and I suppose Paul Henry here, who is always here and always in the Kilmore. The place is looking class, and it really is a testament to the employment they create locally, the Kilmore. The service they provide in everything they do, and I think it's so important. We support the Kilmore, again, a long-standing supporter of Cavan GAA. And in these times, I'm encouraging every person in every club in the county and surrounding counties to support their sponsors, and no more so than the Kilmore, because you're guaranteed good food, and no matter what the occasion is, they can cater for it. And I want to wish them the very, very best luck in reopening this week.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much, Kieran. Perfect. So we'll move on to the Hotel Kilmore Intermediate Championship draw. And once again, I'd like to call on Jerry just to run through the format of the competition.
Yeah, the format of the Hotel Kilmore Intermediate Championship is much the same as the Junior Championship, in that first team out will have a bye in round 1, second team out will have a bye in round 2, third team out will have a bye in round 4, and the fourth drawn team will have a bye in round 5. Those 4 teams, when we make the draw for round 2, will be drawn. A draw will be made for round 3, and they will play in round 3 of the championship.
So the first 4 teams out will receive those byes, and then there'll be a draw done at a later date for them to play in round 3, the 4 teams that come out for the 4 byes.
That's correct, yes.
So there's 15 teams going into the championship.
Yeah.
To go into the vote.
Ballyhaise, Killishandra, Drumgoon, Belturbet, Killincare, Butler's Bridge, Bailieborough, Ballinyack, Cullys, Arva, Ballymacue, Coothill Celtic, Drumlane, Cornafane, and Rammer United second team.
Very good. So we'll proceed with the draw. You hear the balls going into the ball here. Once again, the reigning intermediate champions, Lara, got up where they beat Belturbet in the final. A lot of competitive teams in this competition. So first team out with a bye in round 1 is
Coothill Celtic.
Cullys Celtic, relegated from senior last year.
And the second team out getting a bye in round 2 is Butler's Bridge.
Butler's Bridge under the management of George Dugdale once again, I believe.
The third team out is
Drumlane.
Drumlane, again, junior champions 2 years ago, and they're under the management of Fintan Riley.
and they receive a bye in round 4. And the last team out receiving a bye in round 5 is Cornafane. So there's the 4 teams that are receiving byes round 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the team that
Butler's
go back
Bridge,
in
Butler's
is
Bridge,
Cullys.
Drumlane and Cornafane go back into the bowl, and we proceed with the round 1 draw. So first team out,
Killishandra.
Killishandra, the Lagers, and they will take on
Second team out is Bailieborough.
the Shamrocks.
Next team coming out, Jerry Sheridan just pulling it out there off the ball, and it is
Belturbet.
Belturbet, last year's beaten finalists, looking to go one step forward this year, and they'll play
They're going to be taking on Rammer United second team.
Rammer United, second team, who held on to their status last year.
Next team out.
Ballymacue.
Ballymacue in round, or the third game in round 1.
They will be taking on, it is Cornafane.
Cornafane, obviously managed by Paul Lynch this year.
Jerry taking out the next team.
And the fourth game we see Arva.
Arva will be playing against, they're going to take on Ballinyack.
And that's a big game there, local enough sort of derby. Port Maguire over the, or Israel Maguire over the team once again.
Drumgoon.
Drumgoon, the 5th game.
They will be playing against Killincare.
Reigning junior champions, up from junior this year.
Next team out first
Drumlane.
is Drumlane.
Last year's Semi-finalists.
And they will be taking on Butler's Bridge.
Nice local derby there as well.
Not go too far to travel for that game.
The final game is
Cullys.
Cullys, last year's beaten semi-finalists, and
They
they were
will be
finalists
playing
last year's.
Ballyhays.
They faced Ballyhays, who a lot of people are tipping at the minute, mainly the PRO. Okay, so to recap on the draw, it's Killishandra against Ballyborough, Belturbet against Ramsey United second team, Ballymacue against Cornafane, Arva taking on Ballinya, Drumgoon against Killincare, Drumlane takes on Butler's Bridge, and Cullys take on Ballyhays. So really good draws there.
Absolutely brilliant. And the team with the bye in round 1 is Cootehill Celtic. Round 2 is Butler's Bridge. Round 4 is Drumlane, and round 5 is Cornafane. They will all meet in round 3, and a draw to be done at a later date between those 4 teams.
So I'd like to call on a couple of representatives to come up. So the chairman of the Killincare Club, James Mooney, and Paul O'Reilly from Belturbet, please. Give them a big round of applause.
James Mooney will be first up. Just again adhering to the guidelines, getting the sanitizer in on the hands. And James, I suppose having tried for a few years there to get back up into the intermediate, losing the junior final, to win it last year was a huge achievement for the club.
Yeah, Mickey, a great achievement for the club. We were so delighted, to finally get over the line. As Barney was saying, a difficult competition to win. So we were really delighted and great to, relieved, I suppose, to be back playing football, and great to be in the intermediate championship draw.
Yeah, absolutely, and considering that you've been in an intermediate final only 2-3 years previous to that, it was imperative that Killincare go back up into intermediate.
Yeah, but listen, getting the finals is not a bad complaint, whether it be junior, intermediate, whatever. Once we keep competing at the competitions we're in, that's a good sign, and a good sign of the players coming through the senior level. So happy to be there.
You're looking forward to the intermediate championship this year?
Yeah, delighted. Looking forward now to getting out against Drumgoon at the end of July. That's great for the club, so looking forward to that.
And the lads are all back training, I presume, and giving it their all again?
Yeah, back training, some work done individually. Good to see the guys back last night as well. Good numbers of the session, so great to be back. Yeah, great to be back.
Yeah, brilliant. Everybody give James a huge round of applause.
That's good. Paul O'Reilly from Belturbet. Last year, wonderful year. I suppose beating Drumlane in the semi-final is nice. Getting to the final just didn't go their way on the day, but huge experience garnered.
Yeah, you'd hope so. All right, Damien. Like, we just came up short on the day. Came up against a very superior Lara team, but I'd be hoping that the lads would learn from that experience. And it'll stand them to good stead. For this year on that.
Change of manager. Porrick has parted company, so new hands at the helm.
We have, with Fran McPhillips from Shercock and Peter McKeown as assistant, and they're very happy, and the lads are extremely happy with them, and there seems to be a very good bond developing there. Obviously, the lockdown and that kind of put a damper on it for a few months, but they're back up training again from last Wednesday, and good numbers turning out, and everything seems to be going well.
And Fran, good experience from intermediate championship in his past life.
He has indeed, yeah. So hopefully he can bring that to the fore this year and get us over the line.
Some nice young talent coming through as well. I suppose we talk about it with a lot of clubs, but we've seen the younger boys step up last year for Belturbet particularly.
Yeah, there was a lot of players came through the ranks, for both from minor and from reserve, and got their chance on the senior team, and a lot of them, there's good potential there. So you'd be hoping that, as I say, they can go one step further this year and maybe fill out a bit more and learn from, the defeat last year. I believe, you have to sometimes suffer defeat before you can gain victory.
Ramsey United in the first round, sort of an unknown quantity.
Yeah, we're taking nothing for granted, Damien. We played them last year in the championship, and very, very close call in the end. I think we only got over the line by a couple of points in the end. So listen, the way this year, the way it's gone, and you just don't know how teams are going to react or come out of the lockdown. So we certainly won't be taking anything for granted, and we'll be treating every team with respect.
Could we see Gio for a goal at some stage?
You never know.
Fingers crossed. Paul, thank you very much. James Mooney and Paul Riley from Belturbet. Give them a huge round of applause.
And then just before we do the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship draw, the draw for the Oliver Plunkett Trophy, we'd like to call on Ross Mealiff to come to the stage, the proprietor here of the Hotel Kilmore, just to have a little few words. Thanks for joining us there, Ross.
Give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Even though he's from Ireland.
Yeah, I was going to come to that, so I was doing. I'm sure we've got a few Monaghan people listening in on Northern and South. Ross, we don't really have Paul Henry up on the stage, but we said we'd bring you up here this evening to have a few words. You've been a long-time sponsor of Cavan GAA. We said it to Barney Culley. It's huge the way the sponsors in the Cavan GAA always stay with Cavan GAA. But you've been here a long time in Cavan Town, and you've great grow for Cavan football, even though you're a Monaghan man.
Yeah, look, I suppose the Kilmore Hotel's been a long-term sponsor of the Cavan Championship, long before myself and Kate bought the hotel. I suppose we're there for the last 15 minutes, and we're delighted to be associated with the Championship and with Cavan football. You know, GAA is very important. I suppose very important to our business, a very important to society. I suppose if you just look what happened over the last number of months with the lockdown, I suppose it's time to sympathise with all the families that did lose loved ones in Cavan, but the tremendous work the club's done to all them families in difficult times of funerals. And I mean, it's a real family unit together. I suppose that's why we're delighted. We're a family-run business. That's why we'll be part of the whole GAA. We're delighted to be part of it this year again.
Yeah, hear exactly what you say. Again, you know, to be part of what Kieran and the lads are trying to do as well. You've got the Senior Club Championship sponsorship, and you've got the Intermediate Club Championship sponsorship. Is there any chance that we can get you to go on and sponsor the senior team now at some stage?
Should have, but you never know. We'll not get the level of Kings fan yet. Look, we're delighted to be associated. We want to wish Kieran the very best luck, and new executive for them coming year. Look, these are very challenging times for football, but it's great to see the economy open up again. It's great to see young fellas and young girls getting back to play football. And I mean, we know from reopening next Wednesday the work that Paul and myself has done behind the scenes to get the hotel reopened. We've all our sanitising done, all our SOPs, all the right things to have to make our property safe to come in these difficult times. No more than the GAA has done the same, that when lads and girls go out to play football, that they have to be safe. And I suppose the challenge that they have to want to go back to their parents, and they have to make sure that everything has been taken to the right things have been done. Looking to keep this going, the curve going down the way it's going, because now this is an opportunity for us to get back, and we just want to thank everybody who contributed to make sure that this virus has been brought down to the level it has. And I suppose Cavan, as Barry said earlier on, got the highest numbers per head of population. I suppose a lot of that was maybe done just the way the hospital's situated, the testing's been done in Cavan. But in the rural clubs, there has been a lot of difficult time for families with the COVID-19. But look, we're delighted to be back, and we're just thankful that we're getting our doors back open again next Wednesday, and we're delighted to be associated with Cavan football again for this year. And I know it's going to be another battle at the back end of the year again. I was fighting with Liam McCabe there to see he wanted the game played, do you know what I mean? So I don't know where he's going to play it, because he says Cullys isn't good enough, there's no lights in it. So look, we might even move it to Crow Park or the Breffni Park. We don't mind we play that game.
Yeah, Kieran mentioned it already. We'll come back to the football, but Kieran mentioned it already that although the doors were closed to the public here in the Hotel Kilmore, there was a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and you've been, you know, getting yourself ready for this reopening on Wednesday. It's taken a huge effort from all your staff to get to where you are now.
Yeah, it has, yeah, and I suppose it's just an opportunity. It was a great say my father always said, God rest him, always paint the front door in bad times, do you know what I mean? It keeps things moving in that direction. So, look, in saying that, look, we've got a lot of work done behind the scenes with plumbing and stuff like that there. We had our water off the last 3 weeks, just upgrading the systems and always trying to make us I feel like a Green Party member here, a better energy efficient property now in the difficult time that they're in, to try and keep cost savings down. But no, we've done a lot of work to our bedrooms. We've repainted even our new wing, we've repainted it, and we've repainted the lobby and the restaurant too. And we're just doing a major overhaul now of Brackley Landscapes or our gardens at the moment.
And final plug for you, next Wednesday, what time are you opening and what can we expect? Where can we go? Is it the restaurant and the bar food, or?
Yeah, look, we're opening the doors probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock Wednesday morning. You have to make a booking over our internet or into the reservations department, where you have a girl meet and greet at the front door, or a fella, so you get that right. And look, we've opened up our shielding room. Lucky enough, we then closed for January and February with a major refurbishment we've done in them. The shielding room we've put into it like a second bar area, which will give more social distancing. So look, we're quite happy. We've everything done. We've all our screens up and stuff like that there, and we're looking forward to get our doors open. Like any other business, I'm sure is looking forward to getting the doors open again. and get the economy back working again.
Yeah, excellent. And we wish Ross and Kate and Paul the very best when they do reopen here on Wednesday. It's now time to go to the pinnacle of Cavan football. It is the senior championship draw.
It is indeed. I'd like to call on Jerry Shorten just to come to the stage again and give us just a rundown of the format again for this senior championship.
Yeah, Damien, the senior championship, there are 12 teams in the championship, and 6 pairs. There are no buys in this competition, so it's a straightforward. Each team will get 4 games throughout it.
And the senior championship final will take place on the weekend of September 2020, isn't it?
Yeah, the senior championship final is, Hotel Kilmore senior championship final is on September the 20th, and should it end in a draw, the replay will be the following week.
Okay, so there's provision for a draw on that one, but
That's
27. And just to cap for listeners at home, the intermediate championship final is down for the 27th of September, and the junior championship final the 4th of October.
That's correct, yeah, and if either of those games finish in a draw, there will be a replay on that as well.
Very good.
And the replay is decision on the day, isn't it? Result on the day.
In the replay, yeah, it's a final result on the day, so extra time and if needs be shootout.
Penalties in a first county final, it'll make for a good spectator event. We'll move on to the draw, thanks Jerry. So the first team out in the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship draw for 2020, round 1. Jerry Shorten with the first ball.
First team out is
Lochgarna.
It is
Lochgarna. Can we get it?
Gowna will be taking on Rammer United.
Rammer United, big draw there. Last year's beaten finalists. Game 2, first team out is
Junaree, Kingscourt.
Kingscourt Stars.
Kingscourt Stars will be taking on, in the first round, Lacken.
And Lacken there.
So, next team out, the first round of the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship.
Crushallock, under the management of Jimmy Higgins, local man.
And they will be taking on Lavey.
Lavey, semi-finalist a number of times in the last few years, but under new management.
Next team out in the Senior Championship draw is
Killigary, under the management of Danny Brady. And
Killigary will be taking on local neighbours Cavan Gales.
big one under Kieran Donnelly.
That's a nice tasty one to whet the appetite for the first round of the championship.
The 5th game we'll see
Castlerahan,
reigning champions, double champions.
And they will be taking on Shercock.
They'll be taking on Shercock.
The oohs and the ahs after
Final
that
game.
draw.
The final game in the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship will see
Mullahorn.
Jerry's own Mullahorn.
Very own Mullahorn, and they will be taking on newly promoted Larry United.
Larry United, they have history in the last couple of years in intermediate. So to recap on the draw, it's Gowna against Rammer United, Kingscourt Stars will take on Lacken, Crushallock against Lavey, Killigary against Cavan Gales, Castlerahan against Shercock, and Mullahorn against Lara. A lot of mouthwatering ties there.
Absolutely, some tasty ties there. We're going to call on Ferdia Sweeney from Castlerahan, and we're going to call on Thomas McKenna from Larry United to come up on stage just to give us their thoughts on the draw. Give them a huge round of applause. Ferdia again, just sanitising the hands, and Thomas behind him. So
we'll start with you, Ferdia. Going for 3 in a row. A bit of change about Castlerahan. Do you still fancy your prospects?
Yeah. It'll be tough. It's tough every year. Senior Championship's very tough. You know, it's a lot of quality there, especially when they reduce it to 12 teams. So we've a lot of young lads coming through, a lot of lads mad to get a chance. So we'd be still pretty confident.
Very good. Obviously this year, part of the company with Donald Keoghan, he's been a very good manager, very successful manager for you.
Can't say anything bad about him and see him sitting down there, so...
He'll catch you half.
Yeah, sure, his record couldn't have been better, like a double-double, so... It's hard to follow the Lord Mayor's Act, isn't it? So that's a challenge for Glenn.
Which is a brought in Glenn Riley,
Glenn Riley, yeah,
from
yeah.
Loud.
From Loud, yeah.
Yeah, so how's the lockdown gone in Castlerahan? The lads are in the habit of looking after themselves up there.
Yeah, no. There was a fitness test when came back, and the results were very good. So the boys have been looking after themselves well. A couple of maybe a bit of work to do yet, but overall, no, they've kept in good shape and they've hit the ground running the last couple of weeks. So.
Just looking at your first round draw against Shercock, you had a good battle with them last year. Got it difficult to get over the line.
Yeah, it was an attritional battle there. It took us maybe the last 10-15 minutes really to kind of get on top and get over the line. So it's a tough start. Like we know they know about us, we know about them. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. Fair deal. Thank you very much. Best of luck in the championship.
Thank you.
A round of applause. And now we have Thomas McKenna from Larry United. And Thomas, I suppose you're going to be playing Mullahoran in your first round of senior championship. Larry have been away from the senior championship for far too long, and you got your rewards last year. A team that has been coming good for the last couple of years just made it to the promised land after a great final last year.
Oh yeah, Larry United are delighted to be back playing senior football. That's what we aim to be for the last few years. But the intermediate was seriously hard won, and we eventually got over the line with a bit of luck last year in the semi-final, and then in the final we got over the line. But it's great to be back playing senior football, so it is. Yeah, that's what Larry United wants to be, up there at the top.
Yeah, and I suppose the experiences you've had over the last couple of years in intermediate, it's probably the hardest championship to win in Cavan. There's so many teams on an even keel that you're going to be stronger and tougher going up into that senior championship. With a relatively young team coming through as well.
Yeah, we have a young team, and look, nobody will expect much of Larry United going up like we're going up to our first senior championship. Nobody will expect much. I mean, we hope to be fit to compete at the highest level, so we do, and that's what we aim to do. Hopefully.
Yeah. And how has Damien mentioned it to Ferdia, how has the lockdown gone for Larry United? How have you been getting your training done, and have you been doing these Zoom sessions that everybody else has been doing?
There hasn't really been that much going on in Larry. I suppose they started back to train last Friday night, and some of the lads, most of the lads, have been doing a bit on their own, but last Friday night there was good numbers out, and we trained again this morning. And everybody's great to get back. We have a full squad to pick from, and it's great to get back at it. And it's great for the CCC and the county board to have this competition so well organised and run in these difficult times. So we're all looking forward to getting back at it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas McKenna from Larry United. We are running short on time, but we'll thank Lara and Ferdia for coming up to speak to us there about the senior championship.
So folks, that brings us to the end of the Hotel Kilmore Senior and Intermediate Championship draws and the Cullys Craft Bakery Junior Championship draws. I want to wish everybody the very best of luck in your forthcoming championships, and of course in the Hurling Championships for the 4 teams as well. And look, keep safe, and hopefully you get to see a full round of football by the end of the year.